V has come too.
When you think of Metal Gear Solid as a franchise, you think of all the snakes: Solid, Liquid, Naked, and eventually Big Boss. All these characters very iconic and very unique in their own ways, but one stands out among the rest because of how unique they are, and that is Metal Gear Solid 5's Punished Venom Snake, making the title of Big Boss go from America's war hero to the private arms devil that would terrorize the world until his eventual defeat to Solid Snake. He's a very interesting character and easily now a fan favorite among the community. But there was a time where that wasn't exactly the case. Originally, with the game's initial release, there was a time that most remember where Venom Snake was not on the good side of the community, similar to how the community initially reacted to Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2. There were a lot of factors like Raiden where Venom Snake initially wasn't on the good side. But why was that if he was supposed to be the villain of the franchise to tie everything together? In this video, I'll be discussing a lot of factors that went into the many flaws of Venom Snake as a character, what they had to cut, what changed, and ultimately why the community initially rejected Venom Snake. After the success of Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 5 marked a new era for Metal Gear Solid as a franchise, as it entered the next-gen era of gaming. A new Fox engine that had very realistic graphics for its time, less cutscenes than there were in Metal Gear Solid 4, and a push for more real-time storytelling, and an emphasis to re-revolutionize the stealth action genre. There was a lot for Metal Gear Solid that signaled change. But there was just one problem: Snake's iconic voice.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Who the f*** is that guy? Who the f*** is that?
Everyone knows the masterclass that is David Hayter, playing Solid Snake since 1997, and has become an iconic voice of gaming with Snake, up there with the likes of Charles Manson and Mario. But what people didn't know was that Kojima has been trying to replace David Hayter for years, as he started to envision others as the role of Snake, but David Hayter's persistence and overall love for the character always had him back as Snake. But in Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, we had our first look at the new Snake, and it wasn't David Hayter like the fans thought, it was Kiefer Sutherland, a famous actor for a lot of movies who has been in some games before. Fans were kinda surprised that the change was so sudden and out of the blue, and overall everyone was confused, especially David Hayter himself, who had no idea he had even been replaced. This grew a bitterness in the community when on the topic of the new Snake, kinda having a divide of people willing to either give Kiefer a chance or give him none at all because David Hayter got the bad end of the deal. But a voice change, although big, wouldn't be enough to change Snake fully, right? A lot were still interested in what this chapter for Big Boss could be and what performance Kiefer could bring for Snake, as he was a big time actor in the next generation for Metal Gear, and not a stranger to military roles. So the idea that he would play a more grounded and less off the wall Snake was up there. But I don't think fans were ready for the kind of performance they got at the time. Snake was always known to be the chatty type, a badass action hero with cool action and quips with one-liners, but also a very deep, sympathetic, and emotional person when the moments came to it. It gave Snake this distinct personality to the player, regardless of if he was Big Boss or Solid Snake, kind of playing an overall part in the image of Snake. And although Venom still had signs of this, he wasn't exactly the same character. Venom Snake is quiet and awkward a lot. Artistic choice or lack of funding for Kiefer's side, what you're left with is a character that basically has the personality from Ryan Gosling from Drive. Which is cool, don't get me wrong, but it's the equivalent of if John Rambo turned into Ryan Gosling from Drive in one movie. He barely talks compared to the chatterbox that was Big Boss and Peace Walker, and when he needs to talk, he barely says anything, just to keep that ominous persona of his. Also, when the moment comes for Venom Snake to say something or be emotional for people, he just kind of stands there, really awkwardly, kind of just waiting for the player to do things for him when the cutscene ends. Near the end of the game's first chapter, Snake gets the opportunity to talk to the main villain and does not say anything. Skullface has this long 6-minute, 7-minute monologue, and Snake just kind of stands there really awkwardly as he begins to yap about his plan. It's a shame because Kiefer shines actually as Venom Snake, and when he does get to speak, he can be badass or as talkative as David Hayter. Like, look at this scene after Snake captures Quiet. You can kind of see what Kojima was envisioning when he casted Kiefer for this role.
Boss, you are going to regret this. That woman...
I know. She knows our location. Either way, one of these days we're gonna have to kill her. But now is not the time. When the time comes, I'll pull the trigger.
But the fact that it's so little is the problem, because some players struggle to connect with Snake because he was too much of a blank slate. And that's hard to do when you already have someone so well established and so iconic like Snake. A lot of Metal Gear's marketing heavily went on how this would be the game to set the game full circle. Set between the events of Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 1, it would show Big Boss's downfall. We would see him go from the peace-loving soldier to the eventual demon and villain of the first Metal Gears. Although now people have come to understand and appreciate what they were going for, initially it wasn't exactly the strongest thing, and there were a lot of factors that led up to this. It was all honestly set up very nicely. Ground Zeroes was a great intro to Big Boss's downfall, and when you rescue Miller and he shows off the new Diamond Dogs, he talks about how they're nothing more than junkyard dogs, feeding off of scrap and forgetting about the concepts of peace.
Things have changed, boss. We pull in money, recruits, just to combat Cypher. Rubbing our noses in bloody battlefield dirt. All for revenge. The world calls for wet work, and we answer. No greater good. No just cause.
Cause?
Cypher sent us to hell. But we're going even deeper.
I know. I'm already a demon. Heaven's not my kind of place anyway.
Dogs of war for 9 whole years. That ends today. Now you're not sleeping, and we're not junkyard hounds. We're diamond dogs.
Becoming a company hell-bent on revenge and sending Cypher down to the depths of hell with them. And then you help a non-governmental organization help and take care of cute little animals. There's a freedom of if you want to be the good guy or the bad guy like other games, a popular example obviously being Red Dead Redemption, but it's not as well executed now that I think on it. All it kind of really does is just make your horn bigger and makes the blood off you hard to shower, which is kind of just in Snake's mind, and in a way it kind of just lacks that overall high honor, low honor personalities that you could have had with either John or Arthur. And with all this demon talk, I need to be really honest with you. They are the nicest people on the planet. Like, if they were the ruthless, no-holds-barred PMC that they say they are, they wouldn't be doing all this nice things like helping children, helping animals, helping the locals, helping Quiet. Like it's very apparent what they're building up. They're building Snake to be this good guy, rise from the ashes like a phoenix, just for them to take it all away. But in a way, it feels weird giving Snake so much freedom in gameplay, and in the story, it's kind of just set what happens to him, without our choices not really meaning much. In a way, it does kind of work with the twist, but I will get to that later. When we eventually get to this downfall of the demon part that was supposed to be in chapter 2, the problem is it's not even finished. There were glimpses of it, like Eli escaping with Sahelanthropus, the growth of Miller's paranoia about spies from Cypher being sent after Skullface's death, and the eventual loss of Quiet and a significant amount of Mother Base staff, but these were weirdly placed in between random missions that had no main connection with the storyline. And Eli escaping with Sahelanthropus would be scrapped and would later be just cut content for what was supposed to be a big climax in the game's second chapter. Big Boss's demon and downfall were just overall not finished. What we should have had was what we didn't have. We were just forced to pick up the pieces of what we could have had. The game wasn't finished properly because of issues with Konami's funding and Kojima's ambition, and those eventually collided, and we were left with basically an unfinished chapter 2. And with that, the game kind of just ends abruptly. And it didn't help that after all that, the game's ending received mixed reactions after it was revealed that punished Venom Snake wasn't even Big Boss to begin with.
What about him?
At the end of the game, supposedly after Venom Snake loses everything, he finds out the truth about his identity, that he was never the real Big Boss to begin with, and just a body double meant to carry out his legacy before his eventual return, like a puppet. Realizing that he couldn't do anything about it as he was too far gone, Venom continued to play his role. The final scene, he walks off to his eventual battle with Solid Snake, setting the events of the series full circle. You can see the potential with this ending on what Kojima was trying to do, setting the game perfectly full circle with Phantom Pain. The fact that this basically could have been something from chapter 3 or chapter 4 deep after the original chapter made the fans really confused. Too many questions left unanswered, and with the game not being fully finished to Kojima's vision, our questions wouldn't be answered. Overall, don't you think it's kind of ironic in a funny way? The community rejected Venom Snake initially because he didn't have the factors that made the original Snake so iconic, and he turned out to not even be Snake to begin with. Maybe there's a whole meaning behind it, but that could be a whole other video. Overall, these factors made a lot of people not fans initially of Venom Snake. What was supposed to be the grand final chapter and a first eye view of Big Boss's downward spiral wasn't exactly all that, and the bait and switch was not executed well initially. So the community overall did not like him. But it's 2024, it's been years. Now he's seen in more of a positive light now that the community got to sit down with Venom Snake's character for a while and understand his character and story. Yeah, he's a complete 180, but with that also came some uniqueness to a character not appreciated till much later. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. For my recent subscribers, sorry it took me so long to make an upload, and to newer viewers, thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. This isn't a video of me bashing Venom Snake. I love Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain to death, and Venom Snake was one of my favorite characters from the game. But I played it in a time where everyone was telling me that he was completely the worst person to ever exist. So I feel like it's kind of important to make this video to preserve that kind of history on why that was the case. Similar to how people do with Raiden. Maybe I'll make a video on Raiden. We'll see. If you liked it, leave a like, a comment, a share, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you got any critiques, good criticism, advice, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time.